thank you so much for joining us again on another episode of the program, Are You Woman on New Frontiers Television. I am your host on the show, Temitope Oladipo. On the program, we discuss issues pertaining to women, where we explore women who are breaking grants in their various professions, and we kickstart with women in the education system. So today we'll continue in the series, and I have another guest on the show who has been in the system for some decades now. I have Mrs. Olabisi Shotade on the program today. We'll be discussing exploring women in the education sector. Mrs. Olabisi Shotade is the Chief Executive Officer of Brightest Star Group of Schools here in the city of Ibadan, Nigeria. It's so good and so wonderful to have you on the show, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being part of this program today. We've so love you to be here, and we've been looking forward for a day like this. Thank God it has eventually come to pass.
Thank you for asking me to.
Now, you've been in this business for decades. I want to assume like that. Okay, now how has the journey been so far?
Well, we give God the glory. It's been interesting. It's been challenging, but with God on our side, we've been moving on. I think we started the school September 2004, and by the grace of God, we'll be 15 in September, 15 years in September. We started the first time we had like 8 students, 8 pupils. Then by second time they were 30 something, and by third time they had over 100, because it's a Montessori school where children learn independently. And you know, Montessori is a very colorful setup, and then each child developed at their own pace. So and parents were feeling the impact when we started. So it's encouraged them, and the growth was very fast.
Okay. Yeah, well, for the benefit of people who are just tuning in, perhaps it is your first time of tuning in, this series is coming to your view just to bring out women that are in various sectors, be it politics, education, name whatever sectors that you think women are practicing. That is why we are bringing this series to your view, just to encourage particularly aspiring people that also want to go into any of this sector, that we have women who are doing great, we have women who are breaking grants and making waves in their chosen profession. That is why we are bringing this episode to your view. Remember, we have started with Chief Mrs. Bola Joko, that's the proprietress of Bola Immaculate School, and we have another woman who is doing great in the education sector in person of Mrs. Bisi Shotade. Now, we have so many women out there that are aspiring to come into the education sector, or maybe to start a school. Would you tell me that Brightest School, where it is today, has been a challenge-free?
No, there is no business that is challenge-free. You know, initially the economy was actually buoyant when we started, and the parents were paying fees easily. But when the recession came in, we started having challenges, especially when, that time parents were not mindful of the number of children. We had someone that had 7 children, and it was paying regularly. But when the recession came, we started having challenges with them. And there's no way we can throw such parents out since they were there. Since they've been faithful when things were on. So we have challenges from government. Government believe that when you have a school, you are rich and you're collecting a lot of money. So they tax everything, and the tax rate is unimaginable. You pay taxes for your staff, you pay for the school, you pay your own personal tax, and they are not even bothered about how much. They just close their eyes and give you the bill.
You have to pay.
You have to pay. You don't pay, the seal of the school. It's going to be an embarrassment. Parents, to their own challenges are there. When you ask, they expect you to beg them, even when they're owing fees. You have to find a way of cajoling that they get angry when you ask for fees. When they don't pay on time and you ask, they get angry. Then staff, they will collect their salary. They won't tell you they're not coming. You just come and you see that they are not, they switch off their phone. You can't contact them. That was the time all the cleaners, they just didn't resume. And December,
you were owing.
I wasn't owing.
Okay.
They said I was forcing them to wear trousers.
Okay.
I didn't want them to expose themselves when sweeping, so I insisted that they should put on trousers to clean the school. And they didn't complain, they did it. I never owed. No, I've never. No matter how bad, I make sure that the staff are paid first before anything. So they just disappeared, and it was December, cloudy, dusty. They were resumed in January, and we started calling them. We said they are no longer working because they are Christians. They don't work. We didn't complain. Then I would have made long skirts for you. All I didn't want is for you to be sweeping and exposing your body when the children are there and there are male teachers there. So we had to find a way of managing the school. We had to clean the school and look for. So when they now came, I said, what option do you want, trouser or skirt? And they agreed, those who wanted trouser, those who wanted skirt. And so it's every aspect that is being affected. Parents are playing their role, government is there, then the staff are there. Without the cleaners are even more important in school than the teachers at times.
Really?
Because who is going to clean the pool?
Of course.
The teachers don't want to do that. Only very few of them.
You don't want to stay in a dirty environment.
And you don't want the environment. So everybody they have their own pressure. But God being on our side, we've been able. When you have good teachers that are cooperative, we overcome all these challenges. As soon as we have issues with helpers, my teachers they fill in the gap. Say, Mommy, don't worry, we clean our children one by one, giving us few days, and within a week maximum we'll get a replacement for them most of the time. So the challenge is everywhere, but with God on our side, we've been overcoming.
Yeah, and God will continue to be on your side.
Amen.
Now, it's something that women have been advocating for, that we want to have more women, particularly in all sectors. Talk about politics, talk about business, and the rest like that. If I have you to rate women involvement, women participation in the education system, how would you rate it?
It's quite impressive. I can see a lot of women as school owners now. At least when we go for meetings, like 80% of us there are always women there. So I think we are pulling our weight in that area, in area of education, because it's like running the home as well. So it's easier for women to handle. When you're running the home with different parents, men don't really have the patience to explain and take the insult from parents, even the staff, even at times they spoil children to insult you, but men don't have that patience. But women, we have a way of manipulating every situation and just make light of it. Yeah. So I think women are actually doing very well in the education sector.
Okay, so for some, it's like, okay, because I studied education for my first degree, so it's bound to happen that I'm going to become a teacher. But for some, it's a passion. Some see it as a call, that, this is something I want to do. This is a passion. To you, is it a call, a passion, or because you just want to venture into it?
No, I started off, I didn't want to be a teacher because when I went to serve, I served in Port Harcourt. I refused to teach. I worked with Shell. But when I came back, the only job I could get was teaching, and I started loving it. Okay. And I was putting in everything. I was everywhere, literally and debating. I like coordinating children. Then it became a call. I was a calling and I was shocked, and I found myself with little children, and I was confused. I spoke with one of my friends that, what's all this? She said, if it's a school, I will make uniform for you. She was a tailor then. And everybody I told was like, go ahead. And I said, I don't have money. If God wants me to do this, let God bring the money. That was when the calling started. And I spoke with my husband. My husband was so cooperative. That was how it started. We started thinking of the name to give the school. And what dropped my mind? Jesus, the brighter morning star. My husband said brighter is not the best, the brightest. That will be the brightest. That was how the school name came about. At that time, there was no money. But we started praying that God, if you actually want me to, I was a teacher in the secondary school. So I never imagined myself coming down to primary school. Most I didn't study education. But after teaching for like 10 years, I had to do my PhD, and I found that this is where God wants me to be, not where I thought I would be. Then gradually, with the help of God, we were able to start the school, and I actually fell in love with the children. And now I'm so passionate about them. Okay. And the people read it, everybody see it, and the children know that even though I'm not always with them, but the minute I get to school, they all run and hug me. Hey, grandma, mommy, and all. I so excited. When they go around me, I feel so lonely. I really miss them. I can imagine. I really miss them. Even the secondary school, they know that when I'm angry, it's because they did something wrong. But they know that I love them. And that, from their reaction, I know that this man is not wicked, it's just that she wants the best for us. So I love what I'm doing. If you want to go into this kind of a thing, you have to be passionate about it, or else you won't enjoy it.
Okay. You've mentioned passionate, that you have to have passion for it. Now let's assume that someone approach you and say, okay, I need a counsel, I need your advice. I want to go into this business. What will you say should be the skills, the criteria, the requirements that has to be put in place?
I've been having people coming to me, not even for this alone. What the first thing I ask them, are you passionate about what you want to do? Because if you're passionate, no matter how bad things are, no matter how rough, you still enjoy doing it. So passion is the first thing you need to have to start any business. Especially this one was passionate about children, because you carry some the vomit on your body, you carry some the poo on your body. If you are not passionate about it, you get irritated. At times I wear white. In the process of touching me, my white turns to, but I don't even feel it. I don't. Then secondly, you must have financial backing. Because for the first few years, my husband was actually paying salaries. The money coming in was not enough to pay salary. You start small. The Bible said, don't despise in the beginning. We started very little. And I was working, my salary, then my husband would bring money from his own too. That was what we used for like 2-3 years to pay salary. So you can't just say because somebody else is in this business, you just want to jump up and start. You must have, it's either you are in a cooperative to society that you borrow money to pay, so that you have stable teachers. Because like I said initially, teachers are wonderful, especially professional teachers. As long as their salary is regular, no matter how little, they can stay with you. But the minute you start owing them 1-2 months salary, they are never patient to see you. So when you need to have money to be able to pay the teachers regularly and to be able to beautify the school every time. Because new schools are springing up and they are like your competitors. So you need to move up to that level as well. So you can't just say, I have 100,000, then you go and rent a place. And if you are in an area,
and that is the one with rampant now. You can get a 3-bedroom flat. If you can just venture into that business.
By the time they rent, before you know it, the rent will, even if you have you must have a long lease for a start, like 5 years or 10 years lease. At least that will give you building space to start off. Then you must have money to pay teachers regularly. Then,
not that you are banking on the school fees to pay them.
No, school fees, though, at times, at the end of the time, you may have a standing like over $1 million. That's the truth. Yeah, you can have over $1 million. So you must have a way of paying your staff. Then, like in our school, we pay our teachers on the holiday. Some schools don't. Some don't. Some don't, but when they are working for you, they are not doing something else. How do they get money during the holiday? So it's a big burden when you are doing that. So you need money. So most of the time, when the money comes in, it goes to the teachers and running of the school.
So can we not say it's not a business per se? Because with everything you've been saying, I'm not saying like maybe it's a profit-making venture per se.
Probably after you have stabilized, probably like over 10, 15 years. But you can't make profits the first 3, 4, 5 years. No. After 10 years, you have everything in place. Maybe you want to face the primary school. Because there's always temptation. When you have primary school, they are doing your parents say, mommy, you're in secondary school, then you'll be tempted. You are investing. So you keep investing back into the school. Then you now start the secondary school. That one is even more demanding. You need laboratories and all that. So where's the money? Where's the profit? Every money you make in the primary, you put in the secondary. And you keep investing. So you can't really say at the end of the year, I want to take 1 million or 500,000 out of the school to do anything personal. No. As we are going on holiday, now we have to think of innovation. We need to replace some things. So it's not a profit making. If you want to make good profit, I don't think teaching until after 10, 15 years. I don't think starting a school is a place to go. Because unfortunately, we are providing services. And people don't like paying for service in Nigeria. You should be prepared. You try to make it prepaid. There was a time we decided that we have to pay before resumption. We lost 40% of our funds. They said they didn't have money to pay, so they went to other schools. So services should be prepared. In other countries, you prepare your service. If you are rendering service, because you can't quantify service. So parents don't see what you're doing until their children pass out or they excel somewhere, then they go, oh, you're actually doing something. But when you're doing it, they don't see it. So it's not a money-making venture, really, from my own experience. This is my 15th year.
Obviously, from everything you've said, it's not a profit-making. Yes, but, well, we will go on a short break now. I still have Mrs. Shotade Olabisi on the show today, where we are exploring women in the education system. We'll go on a short break now, and when we have back, the show continues. Just stay with us. On Hi Woman, a program coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television, and we are talking about exploring women in the education sector. It's a thing of proud, the thing of joy to see women doing excellently well in all sectors of the economy. So that's why we are starting with the education sector, and we've started some times ago, and we continue. I still have Mrs. Olabisi Shotade in the studio while we are talking about exploring women in the education sector. But there is this challenge that comes with all this that we have been saying, and that's the issue of education, particularly for a girl child. You know, obviously it looks like there is still some challenges, difficulties to girl child education in this country particularly. If you are looking in from afar, you think that all is well with girl child education, female literacy in the country, but coming closer to it, you will see that we still have a long way to go as far as girl child education is concerned. Now, let me ask you now, what do you think are that impediments to a girl child education?
Thank you. I think part of it is tradition. Some parts of the country, I don't want to mention, they believe in their girls getting married, starting their family early. Okay. So they don't think the girl has to go to school to be able to manage at home. Then some believe that every woman ends up in the kitchen. Why waste my money on educating them? But things have changed. Religion too, and then tradition. There are some people that believe that because you're a girl, you can't become anything good in life other than taking care of children. Even if you have PhD, you still have to stay in the kitchen and take care of. And there are some men that insist that their wife cannot work even with every education. So some parents will just think there's no point wasting money educating those children. So I think those are some of the challenges we have: the tradition, religion, and the mentality. The mentality of a lot of.
You don't see poverty as one of the factors? Some people come under the guise of, it's poverty. I don't have the money to send them to school. Okay, let me train the boy child and let the girl.
It's true, poverty too. Because I used to have a woman that she wanted to train her child, but she asked me if I can get someone to marry the child and train the child in school. That she can't afford it. She has only maybe girls. She had 2 girls, and she wanted the girl to have education. If you see someone that can marry the girl and take care of her bills, I am not educated, but I want the girl to be educated. I said, why would you marry off at a tender age? Okay, let me support you. So the 2 of us train the girl. So poverty too could be part of. If you have many children and the boys are there, you believe that boys do well, and this girl can go and get pregnant on the way. So why can't I just train the boys and let them have the education? Then the girl, somebody will come and marry them and give me good money. You know, no matter, even if you are educated, your dowry does not change anyway. I don't know, maybe some part of the country, but I don't think it matters whether you're educated. You're not paying for the certificate. And if your husband is very rich, if you have your PhD, we tell you that I don't want you to work, take care of the children at home. So a lot of people capitalize on that they end up in the kitchen as full-time housewife. I waste my money to train them. Poverty too.
And you mentioned something around tradition. Like, okay, maybe a girl child will eventually end up in the kitchen, like you rightly said. Now, let's come from this angle. In a case of a teenage pregnancy on the girl's part, and parents think that that's the end of education for her. But I've come across a lot of reactions towards that lately, that should not be the end of the road. It's even the right time for you to draw her closer, take the child when he or she is born, send her back to school. But in this part of the world, I think we have a contrary opinion towards that.
Well, my own opinion is not different from your own. We all make mistakes. They are teenagers. Their hormones and everything overwork. No matter what you say, the only thing you need to do is to pray that they don't experiment and fall into trouble. A lot of them experiment. They don't even know it will end up like that, and they get confused. If you have a child, at least I have 2 of my friends. Their children were in the university, they got pregnant. One is a medical doctor now. The parents just supported her. She had the child. They took the child. And the child, she went back to school. She's a medical doctor now. There's another one. She's doing a master's abroad now. So it's with parents' support, no matter the mistake of your child, you are the one that is a loser if you allow the child to go. She may end up dead. She doesn't have proper medical attention, or she tries to abort, and you throw out, the boy's parents throw out, and what happens? You end up losing. You are losing her. Not only are you losing the grandchild. It's not right, but if it happens, let us just face it. Take care of the child, let her have the baby, and encourage her to go back to school. And let her come. And they may end up, because nothing will be exciting to them anymore. They've tried the experiment, and they are being hurt. So they prefer to now face their studies, most of them. It's the only ones, most of the time they are neglected, they go back to make the same mistake again. But most of the time when you pull them, let them realize they've made this mistake, we are going to help you. Do you want to go back to school? You need to go back to school. Then encourage them, let them go back to school. And they end up doing well. I have people, so it's good to support them.
Not that you let them go to the street
you end up losing. Losing.
You know, we've mentioned a lot of problems that encounter a girl child education. Now, what do you think should be the way out of all this? We mentioned tradition, we mentioned custom, we've mentioned poverty as issues surrounding a girl child education.
I think the government, they have a big role to play in that. Let it be mandatory for every child to have education. Every child. And if education is free up to like GS3, at least the child would have been able to speak simple English, and they will have a bit of exposure, and nobody will just trample on their rights. The government has a big role. Let them make a law. Let them pass the law. Let every child be. It is mandatory and it's free. If it's free, parents won't have a choice than to release their children and let them have the basic education, so that at least their rights will not be trampled upon. They will know right from wrong. Then they will know when they are being cheated. But if you keep a child, poverty, like I said, is a major role, especially in some parts of the country. It's a major role and they have many children in those parts. 10, 11 children, and maybe 10 out of the 11 are girls. You just say, I can't waste my money, let me just put the money on this boy.
So if you are saying poverty, and you mentioned government has a role to play in that, now, if you are saying education should be free, do you think it should be free to all level, or it should be free to some certain level?
I said to GS3.
Okay.
To GS3, at least junior school. By junior school, a child...
You know, there is this Yoruba saying that what you get freely, you won't value it.
When I'm saying free, at least they buy uniforms. The government is not going to give them uniforms. The government is not going to give them books. At least they buy the books. But I mean, fee paying.
Okay.
That one can go, but or they be asked to pay stipends. Something that will not be too much for any parent, that they can close their eyes and say, okay, I'm paying for 500 naira, I'm paying for 6 children. Government can augment, and a large amount should come from the government. If the school fees is not too high, although even if it is free, some parents will still not send their children, but at least let's give 80% the opportunity to have education, especially the girls. If education is free to some extent, it's uniform. You know, in those days, we pass down our uniforms. Your sister will give you her own. You go to your sister's school. In those days, you use the same textbook. When you finish, you give it to your sister. Then you keep passing it down. But things have changed now. Every year, the authors will find a way of rearranging the books. If your child is holding it, it's out of stock. So if things can be regulated at least to a reasonable level, that everybody would, like in those days, will be able to use your sister's books, will be able to do all that, then things will be easy. Everybody will be educated, at least to a particular level.
Now, going back to the education system, and with the rate of unemployment in the country, where we have people who even study biology, you see them in classroom teaching. People who study something that has something to do with education, you see them in classroom teaching. Do you think this have a negative effect on the output, the performance of the students?
Well, what I say, even those who did education, went to the university, they went because JAMB did not give them the courses they wanted to do. So it's not even about what you read when you came out of the university. Even those in college of education, maybe because their JAMB score is low, because you see those who studied education, they can't even, at times their performance is not as good as those who didn't study it. I think it all boils down to passion, like I said. Some of them, they don't stay. When they are there for the money, after a time, they will disappear. After 2 terms, but there are some that they didn't study education, but they got there and they fell in love with the thing and they stayed there. But it doesn't matter. It's good for you to have professionals in the classroom, but from my own experience over time, when you put those who didn't study education and put someone, you'll be surprised that someone who went to university to study education may not be able to write lesson note properly. Even that one that didn't study, just teach them 1 week, because they like what they're doing, they learn it. So it's vice versa. I can't really say because they study education it makes them good teacher. How compassionate are they about this? They do love what you do.
Are all your teachers in the profession, or some are just?
3/4.
Okay.
3/4 of them are in the profession, and some of them, when they joined us, they started the teaching course because when you're out there, you don't know what it is to be close to children. They are very warm. If you are impatient, you can't be in, especially secondary school, because that's the teenage year. They are very rude, very nasty. We are very sensitive. You can't teach in the secondary school. So I keep coming then. Then we have lots of young people in teaching now. They are not patient. They are not as patient as us in those days.
Saucy.
They are saucy. Then it's when you are a teacher, you are not just interested in teaching the children. You should be interested in the personal welfare of the children. Which I did when I was in government school. Even professional teachers, they will keep abusing the children. And he's always coming late. Have you found out what the problem was? No. So I called the child. What's the problem? So I stay with my uncle. I first trek from Mokola to drop the child in school. I trek from Mokola to Boys High School in the morning. So I get there late. They say, and the boy was doing well. So I told them, I said, how much is your transport fee? I started giving the child transport fee. So when you have to be compassionate. You can't be just a teacher even in public school. You should be, if a child is doing well and is no longer doing well, you need to find out if there's one factor. Why is the child not doing well? Is the child emotionally traumatized? Is there hunger? There are some that you give them as little as 20 naira. Some of them, their parents will forget when they are rushing to work. They don't pack their lunch. They bring empty boxes to school. We get bread for them, bread and butter. So this teaching job is not, I want to teach. You can't teach it's a service. You can't teach when your children are not happy. They can't get anything. You can't be nasty and be teaching children. So I'm saying that whether you're a professional teacher or you find yourself in that service, you need to do the service as unto God. You need to love them. You need to be able to spend part of your own money. Because these children, one day, they will remember you. They will. On my birthday, at times I weep on Facebook. I don't know how much I've taught the lives of some of them. There is one in Leeds City. He sent, mommy, I'm broke. I just send your account number. He's left. But when they have anything to do, he'll be the first person to come and teach the children choreography. He dances, he's studying theater arts. He told me that, mommy, I'm broke. I'll just, and I don't, okay, let me just send something. So even when they leave, some are in America, they're all over the world. But when you touch them, they know. As little as they are, when I smack them, they will say, hug me. They know when you love them. They know when you are compassionate about them. So whether you're a professional teacher or you find yourself in the service, in the job, just know that you have is a service you have to provide with all your heart. You have to love them by force. So that's the thing. So whether you're a professional teacher, are you compassionate? Do you love what you're doing? Do you love children? Or
Patience.
Patience. Do you love? Is it the money you are after? The money can't be blessed if you don't love what you're doing.
Or the life you want to touch.
So that's it. The little things touch these children that you don't even know. You just do it.
Okay.
I bathed a 13-year-old boy in the hostel last week. His mother was complaining that his rash all over. I said, okay, start with that one. So I boiled water. As I get to the bathroom, he was covering. I said, open up. My son is older than he's a married man now. Come, he said, mommy, you do all this. I said, I love what I'm doing. There are not many, they are just like 5, 6, but we relate like children. I pick them in my car. They don't go to school, but sometimes when I'm going home, I say, let's go. When we get home, we gist, we talk. I love what I'm doing. So if you don't love it, you are not ready.
It's obvious.
So I can do anything for them. I can do anything. I love it. I love them.
Well, but that will lead me to anher question, and that is the issue of student-teacher relationship. Some do abuse it, particularly when it's come to issue of the school fee, like you likely mentioned that, auntie will not do anything. She will not talk because there is a relationship. Now, how do you think this could be well managed to avoid being abused?
The problem is the children. In our days, when somebody loved you, you respect the person the more. But these days, when you love them, that is when they think they will disrespect you. Then as a teacher, you need to put a boundary. I was a very strict teacher when I was in the public school. My rules were so tight. But I felt that despite their rules, those children love me. When I will just change my face immediately. And they will know that, they said, even by the color of the clothes I wear to school, they're going to predict what today is going to be like this. Should I do red lane? It's going to be tough. Okay. But I gave my rules, and you can work with children, even that are not disciplined, if you have your rules. And I keep telling my teachers, make sure you have rules guiding your class. No child must come in when I'm in the class. You must not open your locker. You must not talk. You must not do this. And they know the minute you talk, I won't send you out of the class, but you serve your punishment in the class. When there are rules and there are boundaries, the children don't cross the boundary, because there should be a consequence for crossing the boundary. It does not mean you don't love them. When it's time to be firm, be firm. Especially when it has to do with their life. You can't be teaching and be laughing, and children are not enjoying, they are not gaining anything, and you think you are being nice. No. I told them there is time for everything. When you are teaching, there must be class control. Because there are slow learners in the class, they cannot learn in a rowdy. So that's why there should be proper order in the class for the slow learners. There are some, even when they are playing, they can still learn. So I tell you, there must be class. I can't stand a teacher that cannot control the class. That's one of the criteria I use when I want to employ teachers. Because they go to the class to teach, and I'll see how much. I will see the teachers will be playing, disturbing the class. Some will just ignore us and be teaching. I said, we are your students. I'm not the CEO now. I'm a student in your class. I expect you to tell me something. You tell me to keep quiet and disturbing the class. I won't get angry because it's a teaching practice. But some of them, they get carried away. They want the children to like them. So they just let everything loose. And it becomes a challenge to the school. But we try to curb it, because we keep having seminars. We have teacher seminars. We keep having every Wednesday in our school, teacher seminar. We must teach. What we noticed last week, we have to tell them this week. And we noticed this last week. This is how you can handle it. We seek for their opinions to know how to get it right. So teachers can put boundaries. They can.
That doesn't mean they shouldn't relate to you.
They should. They should. They should relate with the children, because if there's no relationship, the children will not learn anything. You don't have to be too wicked or too strict. You have to know when to lay down the odds, where to raise it up and all that. It's balancing.
Okay. Well,
balance.
I wouldn't know if you have had this experience in your school before or in your years of experience as a teacher. No, we have some students, no matter the effort you put in, just to make sure that they perform excellently well academically, it's still not coming out. We are still not seeing the results.
No, I'm battling with one now.
Okay, what do you do? As in, what do you do? Will you call the parent to maybe try something else for him or her, or what do you do in such situation?
Is patience. That, you know, especially when they get to the secondary level, they're already formed. Like this one, the boy is 16 years. He's had a field day. So trying to get him back to even sit and write his notes has been a challenge. Everybody in the school is on it, but we didn't even let him go. My husband had to join us in making. My husband was to bring all your notes when we get home, because he's now in the hostel.
Okay.
We now look through his note. Tomorrow read. I'm going to revise with him. You see, when they see the pressure, they relax. But most of the time we put little effort and we give up on them. You don't give up on them. I've been threatening him that they're not coming back to the hostel. But you, until you make good of your life, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go. I get angry with them that I'm wasting my effort. I don't want to waste my effort. I want to see you do well. And I keep giving them examples of people that have done well, and they can still do it. Nobody does. This young one, to everybody till he left the primary school was unteachable. Even to GS1, everybody wrote him off. And the father, I said, bring this boy to this. I said, by the time the boy spent 1 term in the hostel, number one, he gained his self-confidence. In class, they will shout him down, we keep quiet, he won't talk, he won't ask questions. But now, hey, I said, Mommy, what magic? I said, it's God, because you pray. And I tell them, you're a man, you're a star. You need to be bold. Don't be afraid of anybody. You know, we keep telling them positive things, how to assert them. That you've all paid school fees. Nobody should tell you to keep quiet. You have the right to ask questions, even if you don't know it. You are in school to learn. That's like, you are here to learn. If you know it, your parents don't put you here. So don't be ashamed to ask questions you don't understand. So I kept telling him things. And now, in fact, the parents are happy.
Wow.
So you just need to be consistent. You don't give up on them. If you are not patient, it may not be easy. Because teachers, they give up easily. I say, no, this child will still be better. I keep telling them, everybody, you all have equal brain.
Of course.
So God gave us the same brain, is how you use it. So put more pressure on your brain so you two can get better. And that's why you keep telling them, don't give up on them. They don't, if you write them off, they'll go. But if you keep on with the pressure, and the parents are putting the pressure at home, the child will change. You'll be shocked. Many of them end up well. It was just the pressure, the patience, and the pressure. If you don't love the job, you give up.
Not everybody has.
You get tired. That's this way. You don't kill me. Your life is too much. I don't want to again. Well, look, I just smile. He knows I don't mean it, and I don't know how to make him know that I mean it. You know, but it's then we get better. After I've given up on you, it's a lie. I say, okay, go and bring your book again. Look at me and smile. I say, well done, well done. I say, don't greet me again. I'm angry. Don't greet me. I'm not your friend. You know, you can get. There's no child that cannot be mended. There's no child, no matter how bad. It's just patience.
It's just patience. Well, let's delve into your personal life a bit. Particularly, how are you able to cope with everything you've been saying? Because to me, it looks so hectic and so. It looks so hectic, so stressful, and as if you are just there, like all your life is just for these children. How are you able to cope together with this family, your own personal issues, and all the rest?
You know, when you know what you are doing, we won't even see it as stress. And I thank God for my husband and my children. They're all understanding. My husband knows that I'm passionate about what I'm doing, so he's really in support of it. So I say, I'm getting tired. They say, okay, don't worry, let me see the child. And because the hostel is in my house. So we eat the same food, we go to church together. So they are like extension of my children. So I treat them like my children. They don't have houseware. They wear mufti. So it's just like home away from home. And they eat even more than they can eat in the house. Spaghetti, indomie. When we pound yam, we all eat pounded yam. I don't separate them. I don't see them as other people's children. I see them as part of my life. Even when they go on holiday, I don't know, I miss them, even though they are troublesome. Because my son is married and he's away from home. My daughter is to go to school now. And they will keep saying, Mommy, this pressure is too much. I say, I'm going to do anyone. If few people are coming, these are the ones that they move. So if they are not there, I'll just be quiet all day now. So let me just have the phone. I enjoy it. It's not, to me, it's not a stress. At times it can be tiring.
Of course.
It can be tiring because as we are getting older, the pressure, but I enjoy it. I manage it well. But before I left home now, at least I've made lunch up to a particular level. I organize my time. Then weekends I do all my cooking and freezing, including beans. I pack in the freezer. So all I need to do is, as I'm going, bring the beans out. When we get back, add oil, pepper, and so I plan my meals. Then I'm still very active in the church. I go for my Bible study. I do all that. I enjoy it, so I juggle everything. God has been helping me. It's not been easy, but God has.
It's not. I can imagine. There's this school of thought that believe that if you really want to have a home, like a family, you have to pick up a teaching job. That they don't believe that all these women in the banking sector, politics, and other things can do well at the home front. Do you have a contrary opinion to
I
this?
do have a contrary opinion.
Okay.
It's true. Teaching gives you enough time. If you're working in the government school, you close at 2, or probably maximum 4. You go home, you cook. You can even have your own business outside teaching. If you're working with government, you can take care of the children if you are responsible. Because some people, if you give them the whole day, their children are not part of their priority. Teaching gives you. If you are a teacher, you can put your child in your school. So your child, you carry your family with you to your place of work, and your eyes are always on them. So I think teaching is the best for any woman. When my husband asked me to teach, initially I thought, I want teacher because I read communication arts, and I thought I would be like you on air and all that. But when he said, who is going to take care of the home front? I'm a banker. I gave it up, and when I started, I enjoyed it. I had time. I even had a shop. I was into a lot of business. After work, I'll go up to market. I had a supermarket up to today. They still name there's a bus stop in Bodija. So you can, as a woman, it's teaching. I think is the best. You have time to take care of your children and the home front. I think it's the best. It may not be paying much, but at least there should be peace at home with that. Let the husband go and make more. Your own little one, you join it together and take care of the home. I think teaching is still better. No shift now. You are not a nurse. You are not going on shift, and you have the whole holiday to yourself, like 6 weeks.
Okay, now you are making me jealous. Now.
You have long holidays, short holidays. Teaching is the best. So
it is. Well, and it's a profession I really, really envy, but it's not my passion.
So keep enjoying. Your passion is more important. Anyway.
Okay, there is no doubt that Brightest Star Group of School is a success because you've touched so much life, and we have some of the graduates in various higher institutions and outside their institution doing well in their various fields. Now, what would you say is the secret behind this?
It's God. We do a lot of prayers. We pray a lot. There's nothing we don't take to God. If you have PTA meeting, we pray that the parents will be understanding, they will listen to us. That won't be, and we pray about every little thing. We don't underestimate prayer in what we do. Then we keep training and retraining the teachers. Then we hardly change teachers. Most of them they leave.
Except they leave.
One they want to get married, or they relocate.
Okay.
At least 3/4 of the teachers in the school, they've not spent less than 10 years. So there's consistency. So the parents say, we keep our teachers by the grace of God. It's not because they are paid higher than the others, but they too they saw the passion in me, and many of them fell in love with it. So we move on. My school administrator, at times he leaves the school and says, he's a man, but he too loves the job. So he leaves. Some parents not come and pick their children, we stay with them. We will not say because I'm a man. The teachers are ready to go extra mile for the school. They stay, although they may get angry eventually, and I too get angry, they have homes too and all that, but no matter what, we work together as a team. And when I'm not around, nobody knows, because the school is run as if I'm there. That's the way we are, the structure we have put in place. That the teachers, they run with the same passion. At least, let me say 50% of them, they run with the same passion. A lot of times
they share the vision with you.
Exactly.
Okay.
They run with the same passion. And we have a well-organized administration don't jump to the proprietaries without seeing the SC. And at times they handle some issues before it gets to me. And the ones, even after handling, they send their daily report through mails. The head of schools, they send mails, so we're always abreast of what is happening in the school. So it's God and God and cooperation of the teachers and some parents.
What makes teacher leave in the first place? If I may ask you that question, you know, we have to see some schools that a teacher will not even spend up to a term, and he or she gets tired of the
They leave, most of them, mostly because of money when they are old, or they think they can get more in another place. But most of the time, I've had like 3-4 teachers that left and came back. You know, the grass is always green at the other end. They say they are paying them more, but when they get there, they found out that what they are doing is not commensurate to what they are. They are not even happy doing what they are doing. They are happy here. Because I also have, the way I'm passionate about the children is the way I'm passionate about my staff.
Teachers.
I look at them, I know their moods. I say something is wrong. I say, Mommy, no, they come to office, they break down, start crying. I say, I told you something is wrong. You are not looking happy. This is not you, you know. I know all of them personally. I tell you, even if I'm not here, I know all of them. I know what they are going through. We share, we pray together. They can talk to me. I'll advise them. So it's like a home. So they feel comfortable. So they will leave and say, Mommy, I'm back. I prodigal son, I want to come back. I say, if there is space, I'll take you back. If you leave unceremoniously, I'll never take you back. But if you leave with one, you know, they have this way of telling you lies and they leave. And when they test the other place, they come back again. My hands are open if you were a good teacher before you do.
Okay. Now, for instance, you know, we have some people that are in diaspora. After making so much money, they just, okay, how do I invest at home? Let me start a school. But while the owner of the school is not even here, no, you are here, so you can be able to manage it, see how thing is being done. But for me, for instance, I'm not here, I have a school here. How do you think such person can manage it?
What I know is that nobody can manage your vision more than you, as you can do it. If it's my vision, nobody can. Even though my staff try, but I keep seeing flaws. I said, this is not my dream. This is not what I want. This is what I want. So I can't imagine myself being abroad and leaving them to manage. They will do it to their own, but because it's not their vision, they may not be able to do it exactly the way you want it. There will still be loopholes here and there. Okay. So it's good business. I don't think it's something that I want to be. I'll close if I'm leaving.
And establishment, you just establish and you think you can just go and put someone there to oversee.
Even your child may not share your vision. Even your child may not share your vision. So leaving the school, well, it depends on, maybe it's the money they want. It's not the passion. Passion and money goes together. But some people it's money and money. So it depends on what they want. I can't leave this for anyone. If I'm leaving, I'm closing down the school.
Okay.
I'm telling you seriously. Because, no. I've invested too much of my life for anybody to just run it down. And nobody will know. Even initially when I travel, I'll put this on Facebook. They'll say, hey, office school, I'll travel. I want to manage, you know. So how much one you now living abroad permanently is not the kind of, I don't think, personally for me, I don't think a school business is something I want to leave and go, because it's my dream child. It's something I'm passionate about. Nobody can take care of that child for me. It's not like you having a baby and giving it to somebody and travel abroad for someone to nurse your baby and you think the baby will have any attachment. No. So to me, people do it and they are still successful. But to me, it's passion and the work.
Well, that's a good one. Before I let you go, Ma, for aspiring educationists, ambitious one, what would be your word of advice for them?
Be passionate about what you want to do. And make sure you have enough fund. Or else you take out of business so
You
soon.
keep pampering on that fund.
You need to pay your staff no matter what. And you need to, if you want to start a school, make sure you have 1 year's salary ahead. And be passionate about it. Then the growth of school is not as fast as people think these days, in those days, but now every nook and corner there are schools. So you may run with 10 children for a whole year.
Yeah.
And it's not a teacher that will teach those 10 children if you want a good standard. You need to have like 4 or 5 teachers. And those 10 pupils cannot pay for those teachers. So you need to have fund for the next 1 year. And you need a lot of money to advertise, and you need to have a lot of good words in your mouth to tell parents why they have to. We went to campaign to advertise for someone to bring the child. He said, "You people are wicked. Why do you want me to? For what reason do you want me to bring my child from that school and bring to your own? Because your own school just started." The woman abused us. We left. The child is back in our school. Just keep your standard. That's one thing my husband kept insisting. Make sure your standard is there. When they go round, they'll come back.
That is
Make sure you don't lower your standard for anything. For any they said my lower class nursery is and one school me primary 5. I said no, this I'm doing my own. There's some people will leave. They go and give that. There's no child that leaves my school that remain in the class.
Test other schools and they still come back.
They give them in higher classes in other schools they can, because we make sure the Bible says when the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? So our foundation is very solid. It takes years, but the minute they are out of that foundation class, just forget it. They are gone. They keep swearing. So that's the secret. Make sure your foundation is strong. Make sure you have good money to pay your staff. I'm more emphasizing staff because they are the one that make the school. If you keep changing your staff, the parents will go. They want consistency, and the children emotionally they get destabilized. They are tied to a teacher and the teacher leaves. For them to adjust to the new teachers may take a whole time. Then at the end of that one leaves too. Although at times it's not our fault. They leave unceremoniously. They just collect salary, they switch off their phone. You will see them. So there are times, I keep telling parents, there are times that we can't help it. But because they are moving on with their life, if they get better offer, or they get a teacher is teaching here and he gets a job in Shell, will I tie the teacher down? They have to go, of course. So there are cases that they cannot be helped. But as much as possible, we try to minimize changing. And then there are some teachers that they are not just good. We just manage them for the term. But the parents will not, we can't tell the parents that, so at the end of that, please pack your load and leave, you can't work for me. The parents say, teacher, but we can't go and tell them that this is what this teacher did. We can't expose that. We just manage kosher fukore law. But parents don't understand. I won't change teacher. I don't want my job to get spoiled too. I have to protect
you don't want anything below the standard you set.
So these are the issues. God will help us, give us more understanding of each other.
Amen. It's really been so wonderful, inspiring, and innovative with Mrs. Olabisi Shotade, the Chief Executive Officer of Brightest Star Group of School here in the city of Ibadan. And like I rightly said when we started this program, that the essence of this series is to bring out our women in all sectors. When women work, the economy move forward, and when the economy move forward, the nation move forward as well. So we need more women in all the sectors of the economy. That is where the nation can move forward. It's enough where women are relegated to the kitchen or to the background. We want our voice to be heard. Enough of the voiceless women. We want women's voice to be heard. That is why we bring this series to you. Look forward for more women on this program as we still explore women virtually in all the sectors of the economy. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Olabisi Shotade for being part of this program today. It's really been a wonderful time with you. Well, to our viewers, I'll see you again next week by God's grace. Just keep tab with us on this program as we bring more women on the program for you to know that we have women who are doing excellently well, who are doing great, who are breaking grounds in their profession, and one of them is Mrs. Olabisi Shotade. So I'll see you again next week by God's grace. It's bye for now. I am Temitope Oladipo. God bless you.